Say what now? Ain't no way. It's just not giving what it was supposed to have gave. My man. Yes, honey. You're giving me life. Oh, you did that. You did that now. Child, please. I know that's right. Big. Girl, bye. Shut up. I know you lying. Wait. What? Say what now? Ain't no way. It's just not giving what it was supposed to have gave. My man. Yes, honey. You're giving me life.
Good evening, good people. It's your girl, Miss Kecia, with a little chat and chew. So tonight we have some special guests with us to talk about it. We have Mr. and Mrs. Clarance Baker of Ascentum. Did I say that right?
You said it right.
Okay. Coaching services. All their information will be available for everyone to contact them after the podcast. So before we get started in all the goodness, here we go. My disclaimer. All thoughts, opinions, and experiences are my own or those of my guests. This platform is used to share experiences, help, encourage, and engage in healthy conversation by my candor and truth. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get a little insight to what Mr. and Mrs. Lisa and Clarance, what their Ascentum offers. So tell us about you guys. You know, they're like black love. Black love is everything. Okay. All right.
Well, thank you for having us.
Oh,
here.
yes,
we
absolutely.
Are so excited to be here. So Ascentum is our business. It is a coaching practice. As you said, we focus on 3 key pillars: connections, which is all about people, relationships. They are the foundation of our coaching practice. And then careers and finances. Okay. Those are the 3 areas we coach in. And the way we like to say it is this: we show high-performing professionals how to align their strengths, passions, and purposes so that they can achieve the impact, influence, and income that they desire.
Cool. So you guys are all about making people better.
Absolutely.
I'm here for it. I am totally here for it. Okay, because you know me, I'm all about being better. I'll try anything once. Okay.
Well, you might have to try it twice just to be sure.
I don't know. I might like it so much the first time, then it ain't gonna be no second or third time. All right. So, Mr. Clarance, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
What she said.
Oh, what she said.
Yeah,
Good
absolutely.
job. Good job, Clarence. Good. I hope some of y'all are taking notes. All right. So tonight our topic is, how do I love you? Do you ever sometimes just you meet someone, or you have a family member, or even your kids? Sometimes you just figure like, I just don't know how I'm supposed to love you to make you happy. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to love you with the baggage that you have. Like, you just get so wrapped up into it. Like, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing for that person to make them happy. That's what we're going to discuss tonight. So make sure y'all send y'all questions. Make sure you're taking good notes. And we're going to get started here. So let's talk about this, y'all. How do I love you? How would you guide someone to like understand a person or to receive a person and love them the way that they need to be loved without, you know, when you first meet somebody and you're trying to get to know them or whatever, like, or even a family member that's difficult. And you like, I just know I'm supposed to love you, but I just don't know how. Like, you know what I mean? So how can we?
What do we do about that?
Yeah, what we do besides pimp slap them?
Well, let's not do that.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
That's probably the last thing we want to do.
Oh, okay. I need to
Right.
put that at the bottom of the list, not at the top, huh?
You want to start? You want me to go?
You go first.
Oh,
All
good
right.
job, Mr. Clarance.
All right,
I hope
so-
y'all take notes.
First thing that I would say about that is, before you can truly love anybody else, it starts with self-love.
Absolutely.
You know, for those of us who are of the Christian faith, we hear this scripture, right? We know it so well, and that is what? That we're supposed to love others as we love ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
What we miss, I think, is that part that says, as we love ourselves. That means in the way in which we love ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't love yourself, it's going to be very difficult
Right.
for you to love anybody else.
Right.
That's number one,
Mm-hmm.
self-love. The second thing that I would say about that is what makes it challenging, I think, to love someone is our understanding of what love is.
Right.
Love is not a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's not emotion.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
action.
See, I was all messed up. Okay. Love is an action. That is a great point, Lisa. Love is an action. That's like, if, you know, you have someone and, okay, I'll just talk about me. Look, so I was dating a guy. He used to always say to me, listen at what I'm saying. What did I tell you though? But his actions was saying something completely different. And no matter how I tried to get him to understand, it wasn't what he was saying. It was what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a question. Okay. All right. So, so no, that's a very good point. Your actions need to line up with your words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And because people remember your actions more than they remember your words.
That is true.
Okay. And so, so love is just not it's just not when we're talking about action, it's just not an action, but love is also a choice.
That is true.
Okay. You choose to love
Mm-hmm.
or not to.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're absolutely right in that, where when the message is conflicting,
Yes.
all right, then that leaves questions,
Right.
and doubt.
Yes.
And that type of stuff. So the
Absolutely.
message, okay, or the verbalization of words have to line up with action.
Right.
Okay, because again, I mean, everybody, children, adults, animals, they look at your actions.
Right.
All right, not necessarily your words.
Right. So let's go back to self-love, because Lisa, you
Yeah.
made a great point. You cannot love someone if you don't have love for yourself, or if you don't have that peace within you. You
Mhm.
can't give someone else that.
Right.
So understanding that you have to love yourself and have peace for yourself before you can allow yourself to love someone else authentically,
Mhm.
and to receive love without breaking your boundaries.
Ooh.
Okay, so I think boundaries are something my therapist told me. Boundaries. But it's the truth though.
Yeah.
Because again, someone that I dated, really cared about him, but how do I say it? I allowed my boundaries to be broken
Mhm.
to please him.
Ooh.
You know, like there were things that in my mind I was like, why am I doing this? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I said I wouldn't do this no more. And I did it anyway because it brought him happiness, gave him, you know, joy, or made him feel comfortable in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, what I didn't realize was that I was losing myself. And so when the conflict, you know, it's like a child or anybody, you give them an inch, they take a mile, you know? And so when we got to like the 5th mile, I was like, hold up now, something's got to give. This is how I feel. And there still wasn't no response. So, you know, that left me feeling unloved, you know,
Yeah.
unloved, unwanted, unappreciated. You know, that's how I felt. And so as hard as it was, I had to take, you know, my responsibility. And okay, I allowed me to break my boundaries for him, hoping that he would receive it, but he didn't. And so now we're here where we are, and I need to make a decision. And so in that relationship, I made the decision to walk away, you know, in hopes of, okay, I don't want to lose her, but I'm gonna get it right. But he has to see that for himself. So now I'm gonna get off my soapbox, talk about me. But
It's your show. You can.
I know, girl, I'm the star. I am the star. Okay, but so how do you know? Let's talk about self-love. How do one find self-love authentically? and boundaries. Like
Yeah.
I say authentically, not doing what society say we supposed to do or what look good and what grandma did and auntie did. What works for you? How do you find that?
Yeah, that was a whole lot.
It was.
There's a lot to
I
unpack.
got like this battery.
So here's what I would say. When we go back to, you talked about boundaries.
Boundaries are
you asked
important.
about, how do you love yourself, set those boundaries, keep the boundaries, all of that. Loving oneself begins with first knowing who you are.
Exactly. That's good. That's good.
Who you are has nothing to do with anybody's expectation of you, has nothing to do with what the world's standard is. You have a maker, a creator that designed you with a purpose. And that purpose and the fact that you're a creative being gives you inherent value.
Okay. That's good.
That's number one.
That's good.
So know who you are.
Right.
When you know who you are, when you know who you are authentically, meaning what you were created for, why you're here, the gifts, the talents, the strengths that you have, all of that is truly who you are.
Right.
When you accept that, you know that, and that allows you to love yourself. Remember I said love is not a feeling,
right.
It's about action. Then you behave towards yourself in a certain way.
I was just getting ready to get to that point too. Like, people say, how you say, self-care Saturday, self-care Tuesday. Your self-care should be every day.
Every day.
It should be every day. Every day you get up, you be thankful, and you should live your life on purpose. Like, and if you're not living authentically, you're not living on purpose. You're not living in your purpose. And you don't have that authentic love for yourself yet, because we're going to help you get there, okay? But you don't have that. And it's true, because I was in that place once too. I remember when I first came here, I had no furniture. I slept on an air mattress that my best friend, what's up, Stan, brought. And I had a TV with no cable, and I was still in the Wi-Fi. That's how I was watching TV. But a lot of the time I didn't even have the TV on, because I was in such a negative place, and I wanted to find my peace. I wanted to find me. I wanted to do what made me happy, what made me feel good. And so in those 4 months when I didn't have anything, I found me. I found what makes me happy, what brings me peace, what's my purpose, how do I move in it. And working with my therapist, I learned about boundaries. Boundaries are very important, not just for you, but for your mental health. Mental health is very important.
Yes, and another thing I think about boundaries when we're talking about being in relationships. Lisa mentioned knowing yourself and knowing who you are. We've had a lot of conversation around. I call them stage gates. Okay, and so being in relationships, right? What is that? What is the decision that needs to be made before you go to the next phase? Okay. A lot of times we skip over these things. Okay. And we go straight to, we date a few times, maybe do a few dinners, then it gets physical, right? What of those, but if we slow down, right? And understand what is the criteria for phase 1? What is the criteria for phase 2? What is the criteria for phase 3? You hear lots of people say, well, we wait 90 days, right? You wait 90 days for what?
Yeah.
What are you waiting? The point that I'm trying to make here is when we're setting boundaries for ourselves, what exactly does that mean?
Right.
Okay. So if I meet, well, I'm married, right?
Yeah.
But
black love,
right? I'm married, but one of my first criteria was she has to be a great communicator. Okay. She has to be authentic. She has to be transparent, not afraid to be vulnerable. Okay. Now, if that wasn't the case after maybe the first couple of dates, or if I felt that, Why am I going on to phase two?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's
And,
good.
yeah. Why am I going to phase
Right.
two?
Because this person is not giving you the things that you want.
Exactly. I already know this person is not a great communicator.
Right.
There's some things. Why are we going on to phase two? Now we get in phase 6. That person is still the same person, but now you're frustrated.
But people, that happens. But sometimes you don't get their authentic them, or something happens along the way and they shift unbeknownst to you. Like something like, something happens, or a memory, or something that puts them in a bad space and they withdraw. So how do you deal with that? And say you like phase 3, like they still the same person, just something happened and they wasn't able to communicate it to you for whatever reason. So you had no idea what was really going on with this person, but you knew that it was something different.
Right. But here's the thing that I would say about that. And it goes right back to what Clarence was saying. So if we start at the beginning, which is knowing oneself, loving oneself, that's going to cause you to set some healthy boundaries for yourself and create criteria that says these are the things that are must-haves, that are absolute. Okay. So you have that list of things that you must have, and it's a reasonable list of criteria. Then you have the things that are absolute deal breakers. Now, you've got that. You meet a person. You're dating a person is about collecting data.
Right.
It's about getting information. So some people, you're going to have a conversation with them on the phone and decide, oh no.
Yes.
They're going to hit something and you're done talking to them. You go on a date or two. It seems good. It's always nice, generally, at the beginning. But you're assessing based on who you are and what you need in your life. So some people won't even make it past date number 1. Because they hit something early. The thing is, we're moving so fast often. It's not that the signs aren't there. It's like, we'll use the analogy, we're coming down the highway, right? If you're driving 85 miles an hour down the highway, there's lots of signs you won't be able to read. It's not that the sign isn't there. It's there. You just couldn't read it because you were moving too fast.
Because you was in love as an emotion.
Well, you were in lust, maybe.
That too.
Right. You might have been an extreme like. You might have been infatuated.
Again, lust.
Yeah.
Right.
But so the signs were always there. People don't just become or just change. We're talking about adults. That generally does not happen. Well, you just didn't see it.
I guess what I was leading to was like, one, knowing their love language. Some people, I don't know if they just don't believe in the love language or they don't know the love language, but they can't articulate what their love language is. And then there's those that are carrying baggage, from other stuff. And, you don't find that out till later. You like,
but you can discern what a person's love language is, right?
Yes,
absolutely.
You can.
Absolutely.
But they can't.
No, what I'm saying is
they can't discern yours because they don't understand the love language. Like you can because you understand it. You understand, the philosophy behind it. So I can look at you as, me and you are friends. So I can say, okay, this is what one of Lisa's love languages is because she's my friend or whatever. But say I didn't understand the love language, I wouldn't be able to tell you,
if you have no
quality time.
If you have no concept of it, sure.
So I think love languages is important too.
Well, I think the love language is important, but I think in a relationship, people are communicating every day, and they're communicating maybe in a way that you're not looking for.
Ah, that's good.
Okay, maybe they're communicating in a way that you're not looking for. So, let's say people are looking at, well, this person doesn't know my love. This person doesn't know my love language, or this person can't communicate what their love language is. Okay, but that person is communicating. It may be non-verbally.
Yeah, that's good.
It may be in their actions.
Right.
So we talk about the love languages, but there's 2 languages that's not even talked about for men, and that is to protect and provide.
Yes.
That's not even talked about.
Yes.
Okay. And, you know, maybe your father or grandfather or your brother, that's all they did.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to tell me that they didn't love.
Right.
Okay. They may not have articulated it. They may not have kissed you by their actions.
Mm-hmm.
And we just toss that out. So then when someone says, well, you don't show me that you love me, and he's confused.
Yeah.
He's totally confused.
Right. Okay. That's a great point. Thank you. Check.
Let's see the eyes rolling back your head.
Check.
No, that is
because that's totally me. I can honestly say I've done that. I've done that.
But here's the key, and I'll give you just real life examples. So we talk about the love language, and we're assuming that people know what they are, but just in case, let's list them. Right?
Okay.
5 Love Languages, a book by Gary Chapman.
Yes,
it is. Physical touch. People who need physical affection.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's one of your love languages. You know how I know that? Because you touch me all the time. When you talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said you never told me that. I can discern it by observing.
We'll talk about that later.
That's one. Physical touch. The other one is quality time. They're the people who want to spend time with you.
Mm-hmm.
That communicates love. You're spending time with me. The third is acts of service. I want to do things for you. Maybe I fix your breakfast. I, get your car fixed for you. I'm doing something that is a service to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's giving, or let me say, receiving gifts. Some people like to receive gifts. That's what communicates to them that they're loved. They want to get something. That seems kind of selfish, but it is genuinely for some people a way. It's something that makes them feel loved.
Mm-hmm.
And then words of affirmation. That's the other one. I need to hear it.
Right.
Okay. Now, real life example. My primary love language is the top: words of affirmation, quality time.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the top 2. Then physical touch. Gifts would be last for me.
Right.
Now, the thing in growing up, I never felt loved. I just didn't. I didn't think my parents loved me. I didn't feel loved. When I got to be an adult and I understood the love languages, the light bulb went off. I know why I never felt loved.
Mm-hmm.
Like Clarance just said, my dad, his way of communicating love was acts of service.
Right.
He would take my car and get it fixed. He'd cook a meal for anybody. I never heard my dad say to me, Lisa, I love you. Never heard those words. I don't recall him saying, I'm proud of you, or great job, Lisa. Never heard that. But if you needed something, he would be there to do it for you. My mom, she would cook, and my mom was a giver, very generous person. And we didn't have much, but whatever she had, she would share. I realized then why I never felt love. Remember, I said my primary love language are words of affirmation, quality time. My dad was working, busy all the time, so he was not at home a lot. So I wasn't getting the time I needed. No one was saying to me, I love you, you're wonderful, you're special. Therefore, I didn't believe I was loved.
Oh, you don't know. You just blocked so much for me right now.
Mm-hmm. And my father, just to add to that, I grew up, of course, mom and dad, and I had 5 sisters. All right. And my sisters were 7 years apart. And being the only boy, I spent a lot of time with my dad. My dad didn't want me hanging around the house, etc. But the point that I'm trying to make here is my dad never said, I love you. My dad, I can't even remember him hugging me, shaking my hand. Okay. But that was that generation. I get that. Right. But my dad was at every single event that I did. Every single one. He showed up. Okay. He was present and actively involved.
And that's the thing. I was deeply loved.
Right.
My parents absolutely loved me. I didn't feel it because they weren't communicating it in a way that to me meant love.
So like with, just you guys just really opened my eyes to really understanding my kids, because we went through a point where like when my kids were little, I gave them all the love. I was always there. I was there at every event. I was there, But then when they became teenagers, I just felt like, oh, well, They don't need me. They grow, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to hug them and kiss them and do all of that all the time. You know, I don't need to do all that no more. They don't want me to. They teenagers or whatever. And so my daughter, you know, she tells me that she didn't feel love. I wasn't there for her. And I'm like saying to myself, what is she talking about?
Right.
I was there, I was at work, you know. And like my son, I remember him telling me, you know, I just feel like he wasn't there for me because I went to Captain's Career Course at a pivotal time in his life. And then, you know, and when he was playing football and stuff, I was in command. So I didn't, you know, I didn't have that time frame. And so when they would tell me that, like, I would get offended, like truly offended. But and it also goes back to last week's episode of Generational Foundations. As a baby, I can say that I was truly loved. My grandma loved me. She took care of me, you know. And then as a teenager, I went to stay with my Aunt Dot. My Aunt Dot was cut from a different cloth. Okay. Wasn't no boys, wasn't no going to hang out. Like, I remember one time she told this boy off and he was standing in the street. We didn't have no sidewalks. So he was standing in the street because she told him don't come on his property or her property. But so I can see where that generational foundation I took on because as an adult, you know, I was successful doing great things. She told me she loved me then, but I just knew that she loved me, you know, when I was a teenager, but she never expressed that, you know, often that I could really think of. And then I turned around and did the exact same thing to my kids. And I'm just like, what do you mean I wasn't there? I was there. I loved you. I took care of you. I gave you everything you needed. And I didn't understand how they could, in their own ways, is totally separate situations. And my daughter, physical touch is hers as well. Quality time is hers as well. So if she feels like she's not getting enough of my time, she'll tell me, you don't have time for me. You don't want to talk to me. And I'll be like, what are you talking about? I'm just I'm a business, whatever. You know, I'm thinking.
And that's the key, right? So when we talk about how do I love you? The way that you love me is to demonstrate love. Remember, love is an action. Is to demonstrate it in a way that I receive as love. Not the way you like physical touch. Maybe I don't want you touching me. That doesn't communicate love. I don't mean it's okay. But the point is to give love in the way that the person can receive it. And doing little actions daily that allow the person to know that they're important to you, that they care. So if you know now that I'm a words of affirmation person, that's one of the things that I appreciate about Clarance. He is able to communicate his feelings and thoughts effectively. He tells me all the time, I'm proud of you. I love you. Good job, babe. You know, because he knows and understands that for me communicates love. So he expresses it verbally. Now, whether that may not necessarily be his primary love language, but he gives to me what I need. My job then is to communicate love to Clarance in a way that he will receive as love. He likes acts of service. So I bring him lunch to his desk while he's working, because that's just a kind thing that I can do. And it allows him to know that I love him. I appreciate him. That communicates love to him. So it's not doing what I want. It's doing what he wants and needs, and vice versa.
Right. And I think that's where a lot of us mess up. It's not about you. It's about the receiver.
Right. Correct. And I think two things about that as well is a lot of, you know, when you're talking about those foundational things that we get from our parents or our grandparents, and what we don't realize sometimes is that worked for them.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That worked for them, and that's okay.
Right.
That worked for them.
Right.
But totally what agree. We do is we take all of those foundational stuff and we try to implement. Because now, rightly so, because we don't know anything else. Right. But as soon as we find out,
that's when it
something else. Right. You know, you keep the good and do away with the bad. Right. When it and kids are. Kids are, how can I say this? Evolving. they're evolving, but so are you.
Mm-hmm.
They're evolving. And I think that one of the real challenges that we have is as parents is we think the baby and the toddler and the person that's in elementary school need more of our time, right? When actuality, it's your teenagers that need more of your time. I know that now. Right. Because now what happens, basically what happens is they're evolving and that peer group is strong.
Yes.
That peer group is very, very strong, and you need to do something to counterbalance that. So you go from being a caretaker to being a counselor and advisor.
Right. And see, I didn't think that at all. I wish at that time, someone would have told me that, because I never want my babies to feel,
Well, that's why we have Chat and Chew with Miss Kecia.
All right, hey now, so
hear these things.
But I do my best now, even now, like listening to how y'all are expressing it. I can see the errors that I have made because, I'll give my kids anything. Anybody that knows me, I would give them jokers anything. I'm there for them. Like you in trouble or you mess up, long as you don't go to jail for anything outside of Black Lives Matter, you probably gonna stay in there. But yeah, that's just my truth. Okay. But when she would tell me that, it would frustrate me so bad because I'm like, I do everything. Like, but now I understand what she was really saying.
You can do everything that you know or that you think is good. And there may be good things, but it's not necessarily what the other person needs. And that's the key. When my dad passed, I was at his funeral and one of his coworkers came up to me and she's like, "Are you Lisa?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I just had to find you." She said, "I just need to tell you, your dad loved you so much." She said, he talked about you all the time. He was so proud of you. We knew when you graduated from college and we heard when you had your baby. And he just would tell us all these great things you did. Now, I was shocked. He never told me how proud he was or excited he was about any of those things. But it just goes to show, again, people have their way of communicating in their style, and it may not be what you need. Right. So here I'm going around as a young person, young adult, like into adulthood, feeling unloved. But now with the knowledge and understanding that I have, I can look back. Of course, my parents loved me. My dad worked hard every day, as Clarance was saying. We always had a roof over our head. I don't know what it's like to be hungry. And like he worked himself to the bone to make sure that we were provided for. My mom, that's where I get my generosity from. My mom was the most generous and one of the wisest people that I have ever known. That was her way. But it wasn't what I needed. You don't have to ever buy me anything. I like to give gifts, but I don't have to receive them. That doesn't make me feel loved because you gave me something.
Right. Yeah, you're right. So I give a shout out to my kids. I love y'all. Dominique, Dante. I love y'all. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted us to kind of go into and really talk about, it's great that we talked about all those great things, but if you can't effectively communicate, you kind of muddling the waters at that point. Like, I believe in asking, are you listening to respond or are you listening to understand? Because I need you to listen to understand what I am saying, not waiting for the period so you can just say what you got to say, And I had to learn that for myself. Okay, be quiet. Listen, that's why you got 2 ears. Listen. And don't be on the defense. So now when I'm not on the defense, I'm not in respond mode. Like I'm just waiting for you to get to that period, exclamation mark, whatever. So I can say what I got to say. Because you're not just going to talk to me any kind of way. Okay. I had to learn. That is not how you
That's not good.
No, ma'am. That is not good.
No.
That is not. Okay.
I'm gonna let Clarance speak on this. That's the communication expert.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I had to learn that. For real. I did.
Well, I think, first of all, communication is key.
Yes.
Okay. Open, transparent, honest communication. And speaking not from the head, but from the heart. Okay. Because there's a difference. All right. When you speak from the heart, and I'll just give an example. When Lisa and I have high level discussions.
Oh, high level discussions.
When we have high level discussions.
Take note. High level discussions.
Not heated.
Yes,
not
I
heated.
Like that.
There, we never
not
have
heated.
heated discussions. We have high level discussions.
Yes.
When we speak from the heart, that's when we reach each other. That's when the other one calms down and tries to understand. So speaking from the heart, open, transparent, and honest. Okay. But you also need to understand where your communication style comes from.
That's good.
Because there's a reason that you're communicating a certain way. Okay. So understanding where your communication style comes from. Why is it that you get heated about something or a trigger, what your triggers are? Okay. Why is it that you can't wait for that person to finish? Okay. Why is that? Okay. And probably when you do that, it just agitates that person.
Oh, yes, Lord.
Okay. Normally what happens when a person is repeating themselves, that they feel that you're not listening.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. You're not listening. And so they're repeating, that, not getting anywhere, but they're repeating themselves. Communication is key. I know it's number one on my list.
Me too.
Okay. But I also have to understand my own triggers. Okay. Knowing that, some of the things that has happened to me in my past, if it's communicated the wrong way, I'm going to trigger. Okay. But I recognize that. And so what do you do about that?
That's sometimes what I was going to ask now. Now you need to tell me how to fix it.
Oh, I got the answer.
I'm broke.
Right. So I'll let her give you the answer.
Yeah, because
I give her the prep.
Okay.
She can. You're welcome. Okay.
You prepping the battlefield.
Right. So wait a minute. That's protection.
Yes.
I'm in front.
You're in front. My man. Black love.
And so, but truly, that whole communication piece, everybody has a different communication style. Right. But the thing is, if you don't take the time in those stage gates to learn that person, to talk about the tough things. Okay. Talk about your childhood, where it comes from, what your preferences are in certain things, et cetera, et cetera. Really learn that person. You'll get to understand their communication style.
Right, I got you.
And the reasons why. Okay, baby, I prepped you.
Okay. All
right, go ahead.
Finish off. Here's the thing. So Clarance and I, one of the things that we do is we teach a coaching program that's called Becoming One. And it's really designed to help couples who are committed to each other to prepare for marriage, if that's what they want, right? To get ready to become one. And one of the lessons that we teach around that has to do with this communication is what I'm going to call TTR, trigger, thought, reaction.
Okay.
So here's what happens. Somebody says something, does something that triggers you.
Okay. I'm triggered.
You're triggered.
I'm there.
What happens is once that trigger happens, you have some immediate thoughts. So let's say Clarance said something. No, let me do that because it's probably me. I said something.
Well, at least you know it.
Real flip. Quick response that hurt his feelings, upset him, was disrespectful, whatever. But it triggered him.
Okay.
Now he could think, this girl is so disrespectful. She doesn't know how to talk to me. I told her about this before. When is she going to learn? Like that, those may be his thoughts. If those are his thoughts, he's naturally then going to respond a certain way because of what he's thinking. That response may be to clap back. That response may be whatever it is naturally for him based on those thoughts.
Right. Okay. I got
you. The key now is to catch yourself when you're triggered and don't allow your thoughts to run rampant.
Okay.
To back it up.
Ooh, that's
and when
hard.
you realize that you're in these things, because if you change your thoughts,
yes, you are.
Then you will change your response.
Yes.
Even if you can just slow the thoughts down enough to consider other possibilities.
You're absolutely right. And now I need to work on that.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's why I said it all starts with self. I can't control what anyone else is going to say or do. It's hard enough for me to control me.
Right.
But to try to take captive my own thoughts, to say, wait a minute, Lisa, why are you thinking that?
The thoughts are the devil.
Is this
they are the devil
of what somebody did, or is this because of your learned behavior, your history, your past? Is this real, or is this just your thinking?
Right.
So part of the work that we do, whether it's in Becoming One or whether it's with the symptom coaching, is to help people transform their mindset. It begins with renewing your mind. If you think differently, you're going to respond. You'll feel differently, first of all. Then you'll respond differently. And that makes for better communication.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's where love comes in. It's an action. Right. So if Clarance says something or does something that upsets me, hurts me, triggers me, instead of saying he don't love me, he's rude, he's what wait a minute. Let me change my thoughts. I know Clarance loves me. I know his intention is not to hurt me. So why do I feel this way? Is it because of what he did? Is it my own thinking? Okay, yeah, it's because of what he did. So now, since I love him, my action toward him is going to be to communicate this in a way that he can hear me. Clarance, here's what you said. When you said this, this is how it made me feel. This is how I felt, because he can't make me feel anyway. This is what I thought. And here's how I felt in response to that. Here's what I need from you.
Okay. Now, when you, that's great. That's great. That's great information. But here I am, devil's advocate, because I was in a relationship where I tried those things. Okay. This is how I felt about. No, this is I said this is how I feel. I'm not.
This is how you feel.
This is why I felt about what you did or what you said, and it made me feel this way. And I had someone respond to me and say, well, I can't control how you feel.
And that is true.
That's
they
true.
cannot control how you feel.
That is so mean to say to someone.
But it's true. That's not mean.
You are in 100% control of your own feelings.
But now, you hurt them. You hurt my feelings. So I'm telling you hurt my feelings.
No.
And you telling me that you can't control how I feel. Well, you made me feel that way. You control that.
No, I can't make you feel anything.
You don't like this.
Listen, we feel the way we do because of our thoughts. It's what we think that causes feeling. So if I come up and punch you in the face,
oh wow,
right? You're gonna think something about that.
Oh yes, I am.
And then you're going to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? Now,
angry. No.
Angry. You ready? You might be ready to respond by hitting me back.
Oh, dear.
I own my action, which is I hit you. That's not good. I own that. But how you respond, how you feel about it, that's on you. That's how you can love somebody that's your enemy. You don't have to like them. You don't have to like what they do. You can choose, because love is a choice, as Clarance said.
Love is a choice.
You can choose to act, behave, respond in a certain way that has nothing to do with what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're acting.
But they made me feel that way.
No, they didn't make you feel that way. You chose to feel that way.
I chose to have my feelings hurt.
No, you didn't choose to have them hurt. No,
I'm telling you,
did not.
What you said hurt my feelings.
So, yeah, what they said caused you to think a certain thing, which led to you feeling a certain way. And should they respond, react, treat you differently? Absolutely.
Yes.
And you have every right to say to that person, this is what you said. And here's how I felt when I heard those words. This is what you did. Here's how I felt when you did this thing. Not that they made you feel it, not that they made you think it. Your feelings, your thoughts are a fact. They are real. They are valid. You deserve to have them, and you deserve to set boundaries and standards for how people talk to you and treat you. And if the person doesn't respect your boundaries,
then
they lose the right to be in your presence.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see. I get that.
That is absolutely correct. And I just want to give a real world example. If Lisa and I are communicating, let's say Lisa says something to me that offends me, okay, for whatever triggers me, okay, before I respond, okay, I have to separate myself. Before I respond, I have to separate myself. Now, what does that mean? Do I separate myself emotionally? Do I separate myself physically? What exactly does that mean? all right, I will separate myself emotionally, right? And think about, why did that affect me the way that it did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is it about what Lisa said? Because I know she loves me. I know she cares about me. I know that she would not hurt me intentionally. Okay. Now what happens is I have to think, now I'm bringing up stuff from the past,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's affecting me. And we have so many people walking around with, I call it relationship PTSD.
That's me.
Okay. It's relationship PTSD,
All day long.
where you have been in relationships that has caused trauma. Okay. You haven't healed from it. And then now you're in another relationship and all of that stuff comes back. It's triggered and you react in an emotional way. Right. And so it may be, I mean, I don't separate myself where we're not talking.
Right.
Okay. But it may be 2 days before I come back to her and I'm able to talk to her from my heart.
Got you. That's
okay.
Good. That's
and
good.
and able to explain to her why I felt the way that I felt. But first I have to check myself.
Right.
Okay, because I reacted. Obviously she was okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, not only okay, and we're still together.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is it about me?
Right.
Okay, that has me reacting the way that I did. And if you're not able to communicate that and be transparent and honest about it, then you're going to have a very difficult time in any relationship.
Yeah. Shaking my head. I guess like my last relationship, I would just shut down. Like, I'd be like, okay, that's what you want to do. All right, whatever. Yeah. But in my mind, it's like, this ain't gonna work. He don't care about me. He don't love me, because if he did, he wouldn't do X, Y, and Z. And I don't have. Why I gotta keep telling you over and over again? Like, and the whole thing about listen to what I say, not what I do.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Listen, the reality is, I say it this way. If you watch a person's actions, you won't have to be confused by what they're saying.
But the thing is, I don't doubt that he loved me. I just think that, like Clarance just said, that PTSD, just like I got it, somebody else got it. Like everybody deals with their own thing.
What is love? When you say I don't doubt that he loved me, but you're also in the same breath saying, but he repeatedly did things that
hurt my feelings,
hurt you.
Right?
Is that love?
Love don't hurt. No, you're right.
Love is patient.
Yeah.
Love is kind. It does not keep a record of wrongs.
You're right.
It's not prideful.
So you trying
doesn't seek its
own. You trying to say he ain't love me, Lisa?
I'm asking you.
Because you say he ain't love me. I love him. I love you.
Maybe it's just a different kind of love.
No, this is the thing. We use the word love so often and we apply it to so many things that it reduces the meaning of it. It makes it hard for people to truly know what love is.
Yeah.
And we get all emotional and we want to just, and I'm a very emotional creature, so I understand that well. But the reality is, and especially for women, because we by nature generally are more emotional. It's great to have your emotions and to follow your heart, but please take your head with you.
Yes.
At the very beginning, you need to use your head more than your heart, and you need to listen a lot more than you speak. Yeah. Because if you watch a person's actions and you listen to the things that they say, see, do they line up? You can tell what's in a person's heart by what they say, because out of the abundance of your heart, that's what your mouth speaks.
Right. You're so right.
So if you watch and use your head first, you won't be confused. And if you think about that, if you go back and evaluate relationships that you've been in, whether it's with a coworker, someone who was a love interest, a relative, whatever, go back.
Right, you're right.
And assess using your head.
Right.
What did they say? What did they repeatedly say? What did they do? What did they repeatedly do? Then ask yourself, were those actions loving?
Got you. All right, class is over for the night. Those of us that have relationship PTSD, please get in touch with my friends. My friends are dope. So we gonna. I wonder if I can add this to my VA claim.
Well, now we cannot help you with that. That's outside of our department.
And plus, we would have to have an invoice.
Right. Well, we're not doing that, okay? But this was great. This was so enlightening for me. So, really. And you and I kind of got into start talking about it some. But I think tonight was more for me than it was for y'all. I hope y'all got out of it what I got out of it. Just talking to two amazing couple. Yeah, I know my Lisa's story, and I'm so happy for her. And then now to finally meet Clarance and put all the things that you've said about him, and he is awesome. You got any brothers? Oh, did I say that?
We had 5 sisters.
Oh, Lord Jesus. See what I'm saying, Lisa? That wasn't on the criteria. He got to have some brothers for your friends. No,
that was not on my list.
But this was so great. This was so dope. And I know it's so many people. Oh, sorry, y'all, with the thing in my face. But I know it's so many people that if you really take in everything that they said, you will see where you stand as well and what you need to do to improve on yourself and your self-love and what you allow and the boundaries that you set and the way that you communicate and the way that you receive communication. So this has been awesome. We definitely went over our time tonight. It was so great, but it's all good. It's all good. Session is paid for. All right. So why don't you guys go ahead and tell the people how they can get in touch with you if they want some coaching. I know we're here in Maryland, but I'm sure you guys do virtual and all that kind of thing.
Virtual. We have clients that are all across the U.S. The easiest way to get in contact with us is through our website, which is ascentim.com. That's ASCENTIM.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at Ascentim. You can find us there. And of course, they can reach you.
Yes, because I think I need to get an invoice for a coaching service to fix my PTSD. Okay. All right. So thank you all for attending. I want to give a shout out to God for giving me the grace to be here and share my life and thoughts with the world. A big thanks to you all for tuning in. Y'all are dope. My audience is dope. I got the best audience in the world. Thanks for all the feedback last week. I truly appreciate it. And to the production crew of Brass Mill Production Studios. All right. Let me just give you a heads up about next week. So next week on February the 17th, we will be back. And the topic for the 17th is He Said, She Said. All right. So I'm going to have a special guest, and he is special. One of my homies, James Cash, a.k.a. Cash. He is a self-proclaimed expert on everything. So you don't want to miss this hot topic. We definitely going to have a good time as always. And all the positivity will come out of it. Hopefully you'll learn something. As always, I take something from these experiences. So on that note, we wish you well. Good night. Be blessed and smooches.